Hello and welcome to this demonstration of the Galileo online system. I am Vineet, computer science PhD student at the UC San Diego Design Lab. In collaboration with Night Lab and American Gut Project, I create online systems that enable people to create personally meaningful scientific knowledge. Let's get started. The Lyme disease community has many intuitions about what affects their health and well-being. For example, someone in the community might believe that vegan diet improves their energy levels. There can be many such intuitions. Galileo is an online website that enables any community, like the Lyme disease community, to design and run experiments to test such intuitions. Right now, we track data about ourselves to find correlations between our lifestyle and health outcomes. But tracking does not provide a causal link. Scientists run randomized control trials with groups of people to prove or refute causal links. Galileo provides citizen scientists and people interested in their health with a quick and easy guided approach to running a randomized experiment. You can design an experiment, you can get it reviewed from members of your community, and you can finally launch your experiment where anyone with an internet connection can likely participate. So let's design an experiment. Waiting. Alright, so to design an experiment, I need an idea or an intuition that I want to test. Galileo helps me with the rest. My intuition is vegan diet improves my energy levels. I'll quickly change my intuition into a hypothesis now. The cause here is vegan diet relation increases my energy levels. A hypothesis is a cause and an effect and a link between them. Now that I have my hypothesis, I'm ready to design an experiment. But before I do that, I'll very quickly take a guess about why I think this might be true. And I think vegan diet increases my energy levels because my body spends less energy digesting the food. Now I don't know whether this is true or not, but I'm just taking a guess. Great. Now vegan diet is the cause that I want to manipulate. I might manipulate vegan diet to be present in my daily life or absent. In this case, it becomes an absence or presence option here. I could also potentially change the frequency of vegan diet. So I could eat vegan food once, twice, or thrice in a day. Or I could change the proportion of vegan diet in my overall food, in which case I could probably select this option. Right now we'll go with absence or presence. The effect is energy levels. Now I can track energy levels in multiple ways. I could probably find out ways in which I could track it objectively. To keep it simple, I'll just use a rating scale where anyone can say whether they have low energy levels or they feel like they have high energy levels on a scale of 1 to 5. Great, so now we have our hypothesis. We know how to measure our cause, which is vegan diet, and the effect, which is energy levels. We'll quickly set up a quick reminder scheme for all participants in this experiment. I want to send a reminder to all participants to provide me information about their vegan diet at, let's say, 8 p.m. once they're done with all meals in a day. And this is a reminder text that will be sent to them, and I can actually edit this text to say anything I want, and I'll just introduce my name here. Similarly, I can actually provide a reminder for energy levels measurement as well. And let's say I'll do that right after the dietary information at 9 p.m. Hopefully that's not too late. There are a number of checklists and rubric items used in Galileo that help people frame their experiment design. I won't go into too much details, but you'll see they'll be useful for you. Great. Now we're pretty much in the last steps of our experiment design, where we'll decide two groups, a control and an experimental group. The control group in my case won't eat vegan food. Oops. And the experimental group will eat vegan food. This is my high-level description. Now I'll provide experimental steps for people to follow in these groups. So the control group people will sort of continue with their daily life, but consume meat or dairy for their meals. For the experimental group, the first step remains the same. but for meals, consume vegan food. Great. Now again, there are a number of checks with which people can decide whether they are providing sufficient details or not, and I'm providing a cursory overview here, but sometimes these instructions need to have a lot more details. Great, and in the last stage, I'll decide whether I want to exclude someone from my experiment because they might get hurt. So I might say here that if they need to consume non-vegan diet for health reasons, then they probably should not participate in my experiment because they might hurt themselves. And people should be included if they are willing to consume only vegan diet. Great. This is the summary of my experiment. Voila, I've created my experiment. Again, I'll make some quick checks to make sure that this is fine. A normal participant would actually spend a lot of time making sure that the experiment summary reads all right. Now I have the experiment summary link to share with anyone who can review this. This is the end of the design experiment phase. Now once I've designed an experiment and shared it with anyone, my experiment will go up on the experiment board here. This was an earlier experiment designed by someone, and I probably want to review it now. So I'll go ahead and review it. And as I review it, you'll notice that I can make use of some very specific questions that we have already pre-populated to help provide feedback to the person who has created this experiment. So for example, I believe that the control condition steps aren't detailed enough. So I'll say not enough details in the experiment. Please provide specific instructions like, and I'll provide some examples. And similarly, anyone can review all the different portions of an experiment and they can finish reviewing, which will send an email to the designer about their experiment feedback. This concludes the design and review phase summary of Galileo, and in the next video I'll share with you details about the run phase of Galileo experiments, which is extremely simple as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.